opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. As always, we are brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go. If you're ever in the market for a new or used vehicle, you can head over to Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They'll go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. We have a great one for you. We have, obviously, a playoff football preview. We're going to talk about all these playoff games, 4 of them going on tonight, all of them audio only because of OHSA having video rights to another media source. So they'll all be audio only, which, is a little bit depressing. But the good news is it's going to be free for you guys. So audio only, but because it's audio only, we will absorb the fee passed down by the OHSA and give it to our fans for free. So let's break down those games and see what we got. We'll head over to the YSN scoreboard on ysnlive.com, which is always presented by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. Make it full screen for you there. Scroll up till you see the logo. Burnett Pools and Hot Tubs. The YSN scoreboard is a great tool for our fans, whether you're at one of our games or maybe you're watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you don't want to look away for too long. This is a quick way to get your updated scoreboard on ysnlive.com/score. We have a great team that works very hard to make sure these scoreboards are live updated so you don't have to wait till midnight for the final scores to come in. So a live updated scoreboard for you on ysnlive.com/scores, and it is brought to you by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's go over the playoff matchups. Regional finals today. Someone's going to state, right? That's the whole point of regional finals. You got state semifinal berth on the line. South Range versus Perry, a rematch of last year's regional final. The only difference is the seeds are flipped this year. Perry now the 1 seed in Division 5. South Range is the 2. And you'll look at these two teams, the way they're playing, they've both been dominating their way through this. This is a clash that people have been talking about for a long time. Probably ever since the Raiders won last year in their playoff game against Perry. People have just been talking about, man, these two teams are primed to meet each other again next year in this spot. And Perry returns a lot of players from last year. They are looking like a very good football team. They have dominated their way through the playoffs so far this year. And they have a lot going for them. As we actually are going to pause our playoff football preview because we have a coach live in the green room from Southern Local, and we're going to talk girls basketball with Coach Skinjar from Southern Local. I'll pop him in right now. Sorry for that lag. Coach, how are we doing today?
Excellent. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
We're doing good, Coach. Probably not as good as you. Getting ready for a basketball season, that's for sure. So one of the things we want to talk about today, Coach, is obviously this team this year, what it's going to look like. I know you've had them for a while in practices and obviously in the summer. Give us a glimpse on what you're seeing so far in your practices and what's making you positive for the season.
I think right off the bat, we are growing as a team every day. Our intensity at practice is outstanding. We look at the different challenges we can place our athletes in every day, whether it's conditioning, physicality, or into their mental toughness, their mental fortitude. Challenging moments where they can grow, learn from it. Also, know that each one of them can bring value to the team. Their matters. And that they actually, care about one another and they're taking care of each other. And that's how the team goes. One person is there to help another player. And then, from there, it's a ripple effect. And that type of attitude and effort is something that they pride themselves on day in and day out, and collectively coming together to be a competitive basketball program.
You talk about team chemistry. We know that's so important. What kind of ways have you tried to build that?
Team chemistry is, through different, challenges throughout the practices is, that it's team oriented. If we have goals to hit, we're trying to hit them as a team. But then also, I think the competitive fierceness against one another at times is great because they can learn how to grow together in that sense as well. And then, respect each other's game and what each other can bring to. We talk a lot about just the idea of, allowing each athlete to have their strengths and how those strengths can contribute to the overall team success, and then benefit from one another in that sense, and they build that. So we do a lot of things that are team-oriented, team goals throughout practice, and that allows our athletes to say, hey, we got to achieve this together. And I think that is a huge asset throughout the season because it's an up and down season. Basketball is an emotional game, and allows our athletes to gain that type of in-game experience, through practice and putting them through situations that are, trying. And we call it get tough moments. And they respond to that. So we have the right girls that are in the gym this year. I think our attitude and effort is at its epitome right now. It's one of our strongest things that I've seen, qualities I've seen throughout the last 6 years as being the Lady Indians basketball head coach. Their chemistry is outstanding, and that's a great thing to do. And it's credit to our coaching staff. I think we have a great coaching staff, and credit to the two leaders that we have. We have two leaders that are two seniors, and Josie Stanley and Ashley Schroeds, that were at freshmen. They were thrown into the fire, and both of them were outstanding young ladies at that time, very cerebral, and they were able to contribute as freshmen big. And then now that they are respected seniors, and that's something big for our younger ones to kind of look up to. So it builds chemistry having those type of leaders. And your best teams are teams that have great leaders on it. We pride ourselves on not just having those two, but then have the rest of the team growing to be great leaders.
You shouted out those two seniors. Let's go through the rest of your roster, have kind of a meet the team segment, call out the names that are going to be so big for Southern Local this year.
You want to start out with, I believe that we have collectively the best, freshman group that I've seen in the program, as an athletic group, as a group with attitude and effort, a group that's willing to learn, a group that's willing to be challenged, accept constructive criticism from the coaching staff. And with that group, it's a group of 6 freshmen, and one, it would be 7 total, but one is not able to play this year. But that group, I think, as collectively, we've had great freshmen, throughout the program that have come in and done stellar things. Ashley and Josie didn't mention, but this collective group, I feel like, can be a great news to what we need to, throughout the season as, players that are going to step in, starting with, Rayleigh Caracello, a great athlete as a freshman coming in. You have Haley Maines, who is wants to follow footsteps like Ashley has done with the extra effort put in just into the weight room, or just anything that you offer that is extra. You're looking at Riley Digman as another freshman that is offering a great voice and a leadership role as a freshman. You go into you're taking care of Addison Martin, who is a great slasher to the bucket and can handle the ball. To Sarah Hawk, who played last year as a freshman, played last year in junior high, and now this year I see her progressing. She's one of our most improved players, from last year. Ava Reed is a tenacious defensive player. You're looking at Lydia Spollinger. She's got a wrestling background, real tough and physical. So all those components add into a great team. So you take their strengths as freshmen. We're not looking for them to do huge and spectacular things right away, but can they take their strengths and add value varsity program? And that's what I believe that they can do, all outstanding. And then our last is not able to play. Her name's Josie Richards, played a great job in the summer, part of how our program has progressed is, the summer investment, which, team camps from just doing individual drills throughout the entire summer. I mean, she was one of them, but, the unfortunate nature through competitive sports is that, sometimes that, ball players can't play and they get injured and have to, do what's necessary to get back. So that freshman group is collectively, like I said, one of the most athletic and skilled, freshman groups that we've ever had coming in. And I think that they can definitely contribute to varsity basketball. You go into the sophomores that we have, and I feel like our 3 sophomores are, truly some of the best in the league. And they all bring their own special quality. You could start off with Alyssa Schroeds. Last year, Alyssa was, a sharpshooter as a freshman, played outstanding defense on ball. But, she was able to, have the it factor and break a record at the school, shooting 8 threes and knocking down 8 threes in one game and having a laser in focus to be able to do that as a freshman is tremendous. She'll do a great job handling the ball this year and continue being a great leader. McKenna Jones is absolutely one of the fiercest competitors I've coached. She gets up and down the floor. She's first to the floor. She's going to be someone who's going to go after every loose ball, 50-50 ball, play outstanding defense, and just be a great teammate and also handle the ball for us. And then we had a ball player last year who wasn't able to play through injury, and Haley Kellogg, and she is an enforcer, a great leader, an outstanding teammate, has a strong voice, and you follow those type of people. She's a great shooter, and she's finding a way to get back into the game of basketball. With her 3 sophomores that are her 2 sophomores that are right with her. All those elements make for a great basketball team, and then you put all that stuff together, and then that's where you come into play. And I think that that's how you build a team. Not everyone's going to be a Michael Jordan. Not everyone's going to be, a Dennis Rodman, or not everyone's going to be the big post player. I mean, everyone's got to bring in their characteristics, and then you mold that, into a great team where everyone knows that they got to contribute value to the team.
I do want to bring up Ashley Schroeds real quick because she's probably going to be one of the biggest names on the YSN family this year. She does a lot of special things, already has, all the career accolades you could possibly want out of a career. What do you think she's done this year to even elevate her game even more, as scary as that might be for the teams that play you?
Well, Ashley Schroeds is a very special athlete. She's completely built different. And that's one of her key characteristics of who she is. She's probably one of the most relentless athletes I've ever seen in person. She's an everydayer. There's not a moment that she's not in the fitness center strength training. Prior to even the night before a volleyball game, she'll go in there and and the results are a 28-inch vertical to where she's deadlifting. She'll deadlift and do a leg workout prior to a volleyball game and go in and be a powerful hitter. She's just a special, talented athlete. Also perfecting, everywhere on the floor is her spot. So she's gonna find any spot that she wants, and that's the work that she's put in. That's just not something that she just talks about. If you would come in and see her, she's using that entire floor, and she's attention to detail. She is going to rep and get her shots in. And someone that is every day in the gym. And that's just the way it is. She played basketball in the spring almost every day. Her AAU circuit was tremendous. In the summer, she does not miss a day. And that's pride to who she is. And the results show because, she's, closing in on a 2,000-point career. She's, 100 points away from being the school scoring, leader for her entire career. But her relentlessness to chase after every basketball and rebound is unbelievable. She's 5'4", and with her strength training and her ability to just want the ball more than other players, and that relentless mindset that's why she's getting as many possessions as she possibly can. But that's who she is. That's her competitive nature. I always say that when you talk to people, you don't get to see a player that that reminds you of someone like Jordan or Kobe Bryant that just has a different edge to them because of the investment and the seriousness and the relentless focus that they have. It's just a different mindset, and she's a very special athlete in that sense. But with all that tenacity that she is probably by far one of the best teammates that you could possibly have as well. Her tenacious ability on the floor is just a part of it. She'll also be an athlete who's tenacious and relentless to be a teammate, to pick somebody up, to coach them up, and just show them, that she's there for them. So, I mean, you can't get a better young lady. I think that she had an opportunity to play now in 2 seasons of not 2 seasons, but 2 games where or 2 kind of like little trips where she went to the Chicago Tournament of Champions, where you see, the how great girls basketball has become, and just the different edge that's become in our, in the world right now. And it's huge right now, especially the NCAA and WNBA. You go to that Tournament of Champions, that opens your eyes up to how many are actually trying to be extremely special in the game of basketball. And she was able to play there and excel. She had a couple big time games against teams that were, one I think it was from Switzerland that we played against. And she was knocking down 2 of the biggest threes of her career. So building that clutch moment, but also knowing that, she's going to be facing every bit of adversity, and, and that's just the nature of it. So she accepts that. And I believe that's what, part of her challenge. But she knows with this team, even with our 6 nucleus of freshmen and 3 sophomores and her counterpart, which we could speak more on her too in a second. Yeah. She knows that she doesn't have to do it all on her own. She has great teammates to support her, support who she is, support her tenacity and relentless nature, and then understand that she's going to put points up, but also fill in the gaps. That she has teammates that are going to do that for her this year. And that's a huge thing where she knows that she's got a great team around her.
Coach, let's talk about your schedule. Obviously, the EOAC will lead the play in. It always is. What do you see out of the conference this year, and how do you see these teams competing with each other?
I believe the EOAC, no night is ever easy. There's not an easy night within there. I think, the teams can come in there. You've seen, great games where, big time teams are, running hot, and then a team will come in and face, another team in the EOAC, and then, that team's coming out and playing. So it's not easy league to play in. And it's, to me, it's super competitive. I think we have, an outstanding group of coaches and the coaching staffs that are in the EOAC. It makes for great competitive basketball. To me, until United is knocked off, they are the champions, and and that's what you have to accept, and that's your fuel for your fire, and credit to them, because if they continue to win, that's the team that you have to you have to overcome, you have to outwork, and you give them their props because they've achieved that. Columbiana is still competitive, but I think every team in our league is going to be competitive. And I believe that that's why it's not ever an easy night in the EOAC. I think that every team that you run through, you go with Columbiana, Lisbon, East Palestine, Wellsville, Valley Christian, they can all give you, problems every night. And your job as competitors is to, to find a way to figure things out as a team and to overcome that. So I feel like, our EOAC and even, the YSN coverage of the entire, teams that are in the, we have a great group of teams that, build for great girls basketball.
The EOAC is going to be tough enough, but we know that you also test yourself outside of the conference. Who are some teams outside of that EOAC that you're really excited to go up against?
Right now, out of the, we are looking at Wheeling Central. That is a team that we just added to our league. Or not to our league, but to our schedule. You're looking at the next squad, which was Liverpool. East Liverpool's growing better every year. We've seen them throughout the summer, and credit to Coach Reed and what he's doing with some of the girls that he's got, and their buy-in. I think they'll be tough in our out of league. We added on Sandy Valley, which I think has some younger ball players coming up through, and we've been playing a Frontier and OVAC map, which OVAC basketball is physical and tough, and just. It can be for, great things, in that OVAC when we're playing in that tournament. And that they don't back off from anything. And it's a physical brand of basketball down that river. And we play Frontier. We'll get them again at 3rd place. So out of the league, we're looking at some of those, great matchups that we need tested. I said last night in the Meet the Indians that, part of our growth as a team is to face adversity, to face challenges. And how do we through character and who we are characteristic and how we're built, how do we respond to that? And, there's going to be a W and an L on that scoreboard every night. And that's just the nature of competitive sports. But, how do you respond to that? How do you use moments to grow? And how do you build yourself for the tournament? How do you build a solid run in the league? And then you also, you want to build great characteristics out of these young ladies because they're student athletes that are entering into the world at some point as young adults. And, sports teaches you is one of the best tools to teach you how to face adversity and to show character through that. And I think that that's one of our pillars of what we want to represent this year as Lady Indians basketball.
Coach, we understand that the coaches get the limelight, they get the interviews, they get the credit, and sometimes, unfortunately, the blame, whether it's earned or not. But you have a great staff that's working for you. You're a collective group of people trying to make this basketball program what it is. I want to give you the time to highlight your staff and the people you have working with you.
We have on our staff. I have we have Indians on our staff, which is no discredit to anybody else who come into the coach, but we have we brought in some great people because they care and they love to be Southern local Indians and they have a pride to that. Starting off with my JV coach and Coach Witherow, he's loyal. He played within the program. He's actually someone I looked up to when I was in school and played tenacious defense. We brought on this year Jake Boyle. Jake Boyle was is a Hall of Famer at Southern Local. His brother Corey Boyle, him and Jake have been coaching our youth and doing a great job in the AAU circuit with our younger athletes. Those two are two Hall of Famers. And then you bring in their dad, Mike Boyle, who's an assistant coach on a junior high and also help out at the high school. These are all Southern Local Indians that have developed the program both in boys and now in girls, and they have a special interest in that. I also have a young man that I coach in football, but he was someone who's coached with me on the staff before, and now he came back this year, Christopher Ingledew. He's another one, just a great Indian, great positive asset, and the girls can look up to that, and they take pride in that. And then, my other junior high coach is Nikki Kellogg. She runs our boosters, but these people like Nikki, they also model the qualities that we want to, as ball players, the work ethic, the attitude, the effort, those type of things, how you represent yourself, the character and who you are. So our coaches on our coaching staff model that for them every day, and our athletes gravitate towards that. So that's just a door right there. If you're going to have coaches that model those qualities that you want to display on the floor, the fierceness, the physicality, the tough-nosed coaching, the constructive criticism, those are all elements of growth that you have to have, and you got to have hard-nosed, tough coaches, and our coaches represent that. So an outstanding coaching staff.
Coach, one of the things that we also are doing on every coach's interview this year, it's kind of a theme, if you will, of our season previews. We're asking about the love of the sport. We love it because we broadcast it. You obviously love it because you're coaching it, and your players also love it because they're putting in the time to play the sport. When you talk about your love of the game, where did it start? What are some of your first memories falling in love with basketball?
Falling in love with basketball, just sports in general. My mother and my father, the people is my why. I honor them, in my actions, and I try to do my best to do that day in, day out, because they put me on a foundation. They put me on a platform to be able to do so. My parents traveled all over the place, was able to have the funds to be able to put me through camps, youth leagues, and that's where the love came in. And both my parents are super competitive, so that was instilled inside of me at a young age. And I grew up in the era of Michael Jordan, and some people, will have that argument of who's the greatest. And I watched Michael Jordan play, and I remember my parents, grabbing, getting me a poster of Michael Jordan. I plastered that on my wall. It's something I looked at every day, and I just wanted to be like Michael Jordan, wanted to be that fierce competitor. And that's where the game, you watch him play in the playoffs, and you watch him, come, 3 years play three championships, take some time off, go through adversity, and then come back and play 3 more years and win, 3 more championships and be part of some of the best teams. And that was the era that I grew up in. I can remember watching those games on TV, and my parents helped contribute to that because they exposed me to that basketball sense. And with just all youth sports that they put me through. My dad was my coach in junior high, hard nosed, tough on me. And my mom was right there, always in the stands, and she would not let me settle for being my absolute best every day. So to have parents like that to hold you to a high standard and to have expectations, that instills your love for sports, and your love for what you do, your work ethic. So that's my why.
Coach, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate the preview of Southern Girls basketball. We look forward to covering you guys all year, and we can't wait to talk to you real soon.
Can I get one more thing in? I didn't get a chance,
Coach.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to. I have 2 great seniors, and and Ashley Schroeds is, and she knows this, and she'll say this. She came in with Josie Stanley as a freshman. This young lady was injured last year towards the end of our season, and that was detrimental to us. She has one of the best basketball IQs that I've ever seen. And she, in a way, her stat line is not overwhelming on each night, but the impact that she has both offensively and defensively for our team's success has been tremendous. I feel that, what she's done in the offseason to get herself in great physical shape to improve her shot, I feel like she's going to be in our league the best post player. That's my belief on her, and I feel like she's put the work in to do that. While Ashley's over there playing volleyball, you got Josie Stanley at staying until 8:45, cheering Ashley on, but also going over on the other side of the gym and getting shots in, working on her footwork, working in the fitness center. That's what I take a lot of pride in, that extra effort that you put in to wanting to achieve greatness. And Josie Stanley as our center, as our player in the middle, she's gonna show a ton of highlight this year. And again, her stat line not be always great. She's surrounded by some great teammates, and she impacts the game, and her leadership. And I believe, but her ability to shoot the basketball at her position at the center is going to be something that's going to be, a great showcase this year. So collectively, as a team, with those two leaders and the ball players around them, it's a special unit. But competitive sports is something that builds this, and we've gotten to that point. The Southern Local Lady Indians, just 3 or 4 years ago was winning 2 games, 1 game, 5 games. And now, these two seniors that has been with us, they've won 17. They've got a sectional championship that hasn't been done in 20 years. So credit to, those girls who really bought into the program and said that, that they wanted to put max effort. We now have a summer program. We have a youth program. That's because of the investment from Ashley Schroeds and Josie Stanley, both of them. I mean, I can't say any more about them. That's another reason why I do what I do, is because you have moments like that. We've seen these two do great things. So I do appreciate your time and allow me to squeeze that in there.
You got it, Coach. We love hearing the stories like that. And like I said, we will be out there covering you guys all season, and we can't wait to talk to you real soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
You got it, Coach. That was Coach Skrinjar from Southern Local. Sorry we lost his camera there for the last question, but still got to hear him fine, which is what we want the most. But we'll get back to our football previews now, and we'll go over these other 3 playoff games that we have tonight. I'll bring it back to full screen here. Oop, that's not full screen, is it? Now it's full screen. There you go. So you can see what I'm looking at. Like I said, South Range versus Perry. Obviously, this is a game that a lot of people were looking forward to. And when you look at South Range versus Perry, I think it's going to be a sludge match, right? It's going to be about what team comes out first, what team throws the first punch, and then what team can stay consistently in that. And when I'm looking at South Range, the one thing, if I had to say one thing that kind of I want to see more of, better start. You look at the 3 playoff games they've won handedly, so you can't knock them, but all 3 first quarters have been kind of shaky. So you don't want that to happen against a team like Perry. So I want South Range, hopefully where we can see a much better start to the game this season, because I think they're going to need it. I mean, this week, not this season, this week, because they're definitely going to need to beat a team like Perry. We go on to the next game, Archbishop Hoban against Walsh Jesuit. I think this is another game that a lot of people have been looking forward to. We saw Walsh earlier in the playoffs against Austintown Fitch, so we know how impressive they are. They are a run-first kind of team. They like to control the tempo. They will score at will. We saw Fitch's defense, who is usually pretty dang good, just not be able to find an answer against Walsh Jesuit. They're dynamic. They can pass, so they'll set up the run. They'll set up the pass with the run. And they'll do a lot of things. But, man, Hoban's defense, especially in the playoffs, has just been playing unbelievable football. And they're going to need that defense because like I said, we saw Walsh Jesuit put up 56 against Austintown Fitch a couple of weeks ago in the playoffs. So you definitely don't want the Warriors to get off to a roll like that. Hoban's offense hasn't been anything eye-popping in the playoffs, but they haven't needed it. So their defense has definitely been setting the tone. Not a lot of teams get a shutout in the regional semifinals, but that's what Hoban did last week. They'll look to continue that defensively with the Knights trying to punch a ticket back to state. Remember, Hoban went all the way to the state championship last year and then fell short in the state championship game. A game that they probably think they could have had. A couple of late turnovers kind of, tipped that game, tipped the scales. So they've been hungry all season. They've been a team that has been focused. They had that one loss at the end of the year, which I think kind of propelled them back into a ultra focused mindset into these playoffs. And I can't wait to see them go up against Walsh. This is a matchup that, once again, in the region, I think all these matchups you can say it except the last one. People have been expecting this for a long time, and they've been gearing up for Walsh versus Hoban. Same thing with this next one, Ysn versus Chardon. Obviously, the Irish have squeaked through a couple of playoff games in a row, right? They beat Canfield 16-13, won last week 27-20. So they've been in really close playoff games where it was, you had to be clutch at the end of the game. And I love to see it. I love to see teams that are going to prove that they can make those game-winning type plays when it matters most. And that's going to be the difference here. I think Ysn has a lot of experience in these close kind of games. Correct the mistakes that got those games close, of course. But of course, Ysn really knows how to win games, and they've proven that the last 2 weeks. We go on to the one that probably not a lot of people expected. This is the one that wasn't anticipated, but the Struthers Wildcats have made a heck of a run with their defense. I mean, you beat Poland. Okay, 14-9. That was a week after they played them, right? Back to back. But then you go and you beat the next team and the next team. And then last week they go up against Mineral Lake Catholic, and it was 6-3. And everyone thought, okay, this is when the Wildcats run ends. This is the wall they can't get past. And then they go and they win almost a walk-off win against Mineral Lake Catholic with a touchdown with 10 seconds left to win 28-25. To hold that team to 25 points was impressive enough. And then to go out and make those game-winning plays that we were just talking about with Ysn being the key difference. So Struthers, they're going to run on their defense. Their defense has won all their playoff games. They haven't been blowing people out with offense. They haven't been scoring, a tremendous amount of points. They've been scoring enough, and their defense has been playing well. That's what the formula is for today for Struthers. Defense, keep your offense in the game. They'll make enough plays to win it, but you can't put it on the offense. You can't say, offense, go win this game, because they've kind of proven that they're an offense that can score when they need to, for sure. But I don't think they're going to be an offense that's going to go off for 38, 40 points. They're going to need their defense to play just as well as they've been playing. Keep them in this game. Keep it close with Canton South, who honestly, offensively, I know they did score 41 against West Branch, but that West Branch defense the last 2 weeks of the playoffs was kind of suspect. So they kind of took advantage of that against West Branch. I don't think this Canton South offense is like astronomical where you're going to see unstoppable offense and defenses that just can't do anything against them. It's a stoppable offense. It's a good offense. The one thing you really have to do is you have to keep that quarterback contained, because I talked about that play that was the turning point of that West Branch game early when it was a 2-possession game. West Branch had Canton South backed up inside the 10, 3rd and long. The rush gets there, and this kid just escapes the sack, rolls to the right, throws the ball right to the sticks, 1st down. Canton South goes on to score in that drive and really has control of that game the rest of the way. So, but you stop him there, it's either a safety, because I can't remember if he was in the end zone or if he was a couple yards out of it, but it's either a safety or they're punting deep in their own end zone. So that would have been a turning point for West Branch. So you got to make sure you have disciplined rushes, you stay in your gaps, and you don't let that quarterback escape the pocket and make plays with his feet, which he is really good at. He proved that against the Warriors last week. So 4 playoff games for you on the network tonight. 7 o'clock is your kickoff for all of them. And like I said at the top, it's kind of a, good news, bad news thing, right? The bad news is, yes, we won't have video coverage this week. I know a lot of people kind of bummed that they can't watch YSN, but it's going to be audio only. But the good news is it's going to be free, right? We're not going to make you pay that pay-per-view for an audio broadcast. We will absorb the OHSAA this week, and you'll be able to listen to all these games for free on ysnlive.com. We're definitely hoping that we have 4 teams in the state semifinals tomorrow when we wake up. And then we go in the next week, and if we have 4 teams, we're going to be talking a lot of football, and basketball starts next week. So that'll be a really busy week if we get what we want tonight and have 4 teams into the state semifinals. I think we can do it. I am so confident in all these teams. I think all of them have a really good chance to win. I think if I had to pick one that had the best chance, probably most impressed with Hoban in the defense they've been playing and the level of just consistency that we've seen from their team this year on the defensive side of the football. But I really like Struthers. I really like the defense they're playing. I believe defense wins playoff games. you're eventually going to run into a defense that slows your offense down. If you're one of those teams that relies on offense, we saw West Branch unfortunately run into that last week. So defense wins playoff games. Struthers and Hoban playing really good defense so far in the playoffs. Ursuline played pretty good defense last week and against Canfield, good enough to win. South Range, obviously, after that slow start, defense locked down as well. So all four of these teams playing really, really good defense, which I think bodes well for their chances tonight. Because if you can keep a team from scoring a lot of points, you can stay in the game, and then wild things can happen. Can't wait for playoff time. We're going to take a break on Running Point. When we get back, we'll have another basketball preview. I think we have time to play one for you guys. So we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll play a pre-recorded basketball season preview as we get through them. Like I said, basketball starts next week. We'll be right back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Ty Bartel, Anthony Hartwig with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we head into the All-American Conference with the Austintown Fitch Falcons girls basketball head coach, Mr. Dan Horsek. Coach, how are we doing today?
Fantastic. How about you?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad myself, Coach. I'm curious to ask, too, with this team. I mean, you got some practices now under your belt. You got some good returners coming back from last year that got another year of experience under their belt. What are practices looking like for your girls?
We've had some really solid practices. I have a fantastic coaching staff, and we've been really pushing the girls hard.
You talk about that. Let's go into that little meet the team segment now. What are some of the girls we expect on this squad to have somewhat of an impact on this team and might be fighting for some playing minutes too for some of the other girls?
Sure. So starters will be Sammy Severn, Rachel Spalding, Kylie Folkline, Ayla Ray, and I'm trying to think the other one. And then we have some juniors as well that would get good minutes off the bench with Lainey Henney as a senior, Josiah Donalo, and we have a couple underclassmen, Kayleana Ray.
Coach, a lot of those girls that you mentioned were part of a very successful softball team last season that went and won state. When you have athletes that know what that standard is and know what it takes to kind of get to that level, what kind of a benefit is that for you as a coach?
Yeah, it's awesome. More importantly, they're awesome people, and they play so hard together, and they know how to win games. And it's hard to teach kids how to win games if they've never won before. And once they get a taste of winning games, they don't want to lose. So practices have been very competitive. Scrimmages have been very competitive. It's been a real blessing so far.
Coach, I know you're not new to the Austintown program. You've coached JVs before. You've had your hands in the Austintown basketball programs for quite some time. What did it mean to you when this position became available? You were able to get it, and you were able to lock down that HC position for this girls' basketball team.
I've told people that my dreams I've never dreamt so high. Right? I just enjoyed coaching basketball. I enjoyed being a part of the programs. I never really saw myself as a varsity head coach. But when the opportunity came up, I thought this was a perfect time to do it. I've only ever coached in this district. I teach here. I live here. It's everything to me. I've always wanted to be a Falcon growing up. I never wanted to play for any other teams, and it's just been fantastic.
A Falcon through and through. So what I want to ask is game one, when it's like a reality, you're the head coach of the varsity squad and you're about to coach your first varsity game as the head coach.
Yeah.
What's it going to be like for you?
Oh man. I'm looking forward to it. I think that we're going to have a really good basketball team. And with the staff I have put together, I can lean on them and they can give me good advice, or if I need to talk to them about something during the game, they'll give me quick, accurate advice. And we're just all in this together. Players, coaches, everyone's in this together.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about what you've seen. Obviously, after a full season schedule is over, you might be saying this team has different strengths than what we do right now. But right now in the preseason and before game one, what are some of the early strengths you see from this team that you guys are going to have to play to get wins?
Yeah, good question. It's not a secret. We don't really have much height. So, but we do have a lot of athleticism. And so we're going to get out and run. We're going to play hard-nosed man defense. We got to get turnovers, and we're going to look to score the ball that way. And we're just use our gifts that God's given us, and we're very athletic.
Coach, when we dive into your schedule, we'll start with the conference, obviously. A small but mighty AAC with a lot of really good teams in there. What are you expecting out of it this year?
It's always competitive, right? You got to play every game to the best of your ability to try to get a win. It's just, every team knows each other so well, and it's just such a competitive league. And it's been that way since I've been a part of the girls program for the past 6 or 7 years. So the good thing is we have a lot of juniors and seniors on this program, and we have girls with varsity experience, and they know what it takes to play varsity basketball, and they've been in these battles before. So it's a blessing that they've had that experience.
Coach, we got to talk about this non-conference schedule. And I have to tell you, we were just talking with Coach Gilbert of Garrettsville Garfield, and he was even saying the schedule that you guys have put together is quite a gauntlet non-conference. I'm excited for this one. Talk to me about what some of the challenges these teams pose on this non-conference slate and what some of these games our Falcon fans have to be excited about.
Well, we're going to take every game one at a time, and we're going to try to maximize our strengths against these teams, which is being athletic, getting up and down the floor, and creating turnovers on defense. And our height might put us at a weakness at sometimes, but we just have to try to do multiple types of defenses, multiple types of offenses to try to get our kids in position to score. But there's no easy games on this schedule. We have to be ready to play every game. And what I love about this schedule is it's going to put us right into conference season. So we're going to be ready to play our conference games because we have to be ready to play all of our non-conference games, and that will eventually lead into getting ready for tournament time.
Coach, we know to succeed in that kind of schedule, you have to have a good culture. You have to have good chemistry. Yeah. As the first-year head coach, what are some things culture-wise and kind of philosophy-wise that you want to instill into this program?
We have to – I tell the kids all the time that we have to be the toughest physically and toughest mentally coach team that that's in the gym that night. We have to be good. We have to get after loose balls. We have to be mentally tough to get through the ups and downs of a basketball game. And in every game, there's ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster. And we have to be tough enough to be able to do that. And we have to be physically tough enough to get good box outs, get good rebounds, and be able to push the ball down the floor.
Coach, I know that you can't do it yourself, and you've been a part of the staff itself. So I know a staff is so important to building that good program and instilling that philosophy. Who are going to be some big names on the staff this year that Falcon fans need to get to know?
So I have Mark Duramo as a varsity assistant coach. He's a longtime assistant coach with the Boardman program under Coach Michella. He is 100% one of the greatest people I've ever been around. The way he talks to kids, the way he teaches them, it's just top notch. I have Jason Sanak, a varsity assistant coach. He's one of my best friends. We've been friends for 30 years. He's been on staff before. And I have Erica DiFrancesco. She's a former player of mine. She's going to be our JV coach. And then Jake Capizzuto, and he's a former player of mine as well. And he's going to be another varsity assistant. And then I have a volunteer assistant, Cam Jaros, who just graduated last year from Fitch High School. And you guys might remember him. He's a tall guy with a big beard. And so he's on board too as well this year. He's going to college right now to be a special education teacher, and he wants to be a coach in the future. And I just wanted to give him a chance to come aboard on this journey with us.
Coach, when you go down your staff, I hear a lot of former player. When you have people that want to pour back into your program and appreciate, obviously, the coaching job you did with them when they were players, what's that mean to you as someone who has coached them in the past?
Yeah, it means a lot, right? I must have did something right along the line. And, with being with Coach Nurnberg as we took over this program 5-6 years ago, he instilled a very good philosophy, and I've sort of just tried to keep it all along the way. My players know how I feel about them. I tell them how I feel about them, and I think we have a high respect for one another. And it's an honor for me just to get some former players back that want to do this with me now. It's very humbling.
Coach, I love that you got this position too, and I love the loyalty that you've shown to this program over the years and many different head coaching tutelages that have been there at Austintown. Your loyalty, it kind of coincides with us here at YSN. We kind of dig loyalty as well here.
100%.
My final question for you, Coach. It's a sort of theme that I've been doing with all coaches this year. It goes to the love of the game, right? It's that love of the sport that keeps us coming back, right? That keeps us going each and every season. Where's this love of the sport of basketball? Where did it start for you? You have an earliest memory or a pinpoint moment?
Well, I have cerebral palsy. So growing up, I wasn't the best basketball player, right? And I got my start as a second grade water boy for the Fitch basketball program. And what I did was I would, during timeouts and the quarters, I would run out, and then I would give the water to a referee, and then I would go back, and then at timeout I would do the same thing. So that's how I got to start. And then I just fell in love with the game. It's really like I try to explain to people. It was like basketball was like my first love, right? So I was a gym rat growing up, and then I became the manager in sixth grade for the sixth grade team. Played a little bit in seventh grade under Bert Stellers, and then was a manager again from 8th to 12th, and under Coach Conroy. And every step along the way, I felt supported. I felt like I was part of the team, and it's been an incredible journey. And like I said earlier, it's I never even dreamt this far. So it's been amazing, and I'm a very lucky guy.
Coach, coming from a guy myself who has CP and who coaches myself, I want to thank you for showing younger guys like me that it's possible to do with cerebral palsy, and that's not going to hold us back. So we want to thank you for that, and I definitely want to thank you for your time today. We're so happy you're in this position. We're excited about it. Congratulations on your first coach's corner, buddy.
Thanks.
And we wish you the best of luck. We can't wait to talk again real soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt, Coach. We're rooting for you hardcore.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
That was Coach Horacek from Austintown Fitch Girls Basketball. We were able to fit one more basketball preview in there for you guys. We don't have a lot of time left. I mean, we have Monday and Tuesday to fit more in. I guess you could count Wednesday, but the basketball season starts on Wednesday. That is tip-off. Can't be more excited for that. Playoff football tonight as well. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock for your 4 playoff games. We have announced our announcing crew there too. So let's run down for it. Let's shout out the guys that are going to be at each of these games, right? Let's give them some love. You can go to YSN Live's social media account for the graphics that we've made for them. The crew for your Canton South versus Struthers D4 regional final is going to be Tom Otto and Steve Hodge. For your T5 regional final, Perry versus South Range. That is from Twinsburg. It's going to be Chris Colucci, DJ Oakley, Gary Altizer, and Andy Hake, all there for that one. Archbishop Hoban against Walsh Jesuit at the University of Akron. Ooh, fancy. Ty Bartell and Mike Ackelson will have you covered. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Mike Ackelson, Ty Bartell have you covered there. And then Ursuline versus Chardon. From Ravenna, Chris Sigler, Julian Johnson, Sam Torres on the call for that one. So it's going to be a fun time for all those teams, and we will wish them all the best of luck. We will sign off from today's episode of Running Point. We thank you so much for tuning in today. We want to wish everybody the best of luck. Have a great weekend, and we'll be back on Monday from 1 to 2 for a recap